What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on Stephanie White and the emotional breakdown Stephanie White had this past weekend when her team had to go into overtime to beat Connecticut, right? And some people they are they attributed her breakdown to like to the game that people are saying because she was so excited or emotional over the win that they had and how her team was able to be resilient and fight back and come back and win. But to me, I think it was more to it than that. And I want to play the video of the locker room, the scene in the locker room when Stephanie White broke down, and then I want to come back and give my assessment of what I think her crying, what it was all about. And so here we go with with Stephanie White in the locker room after the game against Connecticut.
About being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. Yep. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like that's what it takes. That's what it takes, and we will never be counted out because that is worth gold. That is worth gold. Kels, goddamn baby. Put us on your back. Yep. Oh, big time. Breezy. You are the consummate professional. We love you. We appreciate you. Yep. You are huge. Baby, point forward.
All right, so let me stop it right there. So she pointed out Kelsey Mitchell and said that Kelsey Mitchell put them on her back, right? Which is true, but this is not the first time that Kelsey Mitchell has, come through and played the way she's played. The same thing for Boston, right? What's her first name? Aaliyah Boston. Excuse me. The same thing for Aaliyah Boston, right? So, and that's why this just leads me to believe that all of the criticism and all of like whatever the fans are saying and people that are not on the team, what it is saying, I think that pressure is starting to get to Stephanie White. I think she hears what people are saying. And I think that Stephanie White as a coach realizes that this team should be in a better position that they're in. Now, I can see breaking down, like if she broke down for a team like this is their first time playing to the level that they played at, then that's different, right? If they were a team that was supposed to be under 500, but basically they're underachieving. So if they were overachieving and she broke down like this that would be, it would be understandable. But they should not have been down to the Connecticut Sun anyway, and so you had a situation where they played the Dallas Wings and lost to the Dallas Wings in a close game, which they should not have lost. Then they played the Mystics, and let me see, did they lose to the Mystics? And lost to the Mystics, right? So they lost to the Wings, they lost to the Mystics, two teams that they thought that they were going to beat. Now here you go with Connecticut, and I think that Stephanie White was starting to feel pressure because these are victories that they could have had even without Caitlin Clark being on the team. And it took a heroic effort from Kelsey Mitchell and from Aaliyah Boston and the other young lady on the team for them to come back and win this game. Like I said, I think that some of the coaching decisions that Stephanie White has made really put this team in the position that she put them in, right? When you lose players on your team, first of all, they lost Caitlin Clark, then they lost Ariane, what's her name? Ari McDonald, and the other young lady. So they lost three players. But they still had Sophie Cunningham, they still had Lexi Hall, they still had Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, also McDonald, not McDonald. What's the other young lady? I'm gonna go back to the tape because they're gonna point her out too.
And like, look, you can't underestimate what it means to have somebody like her who just does whatever we ask, right? Does whatever. I mean, everybody really. Lex, that was a huge.
Lexi Hall.
Toss your activity all day long.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all right, Natasha Howard. So you have people there where as though you did not have to go. You could have just relied more heavily on the players that have been in your system from the beginning of the season. Natasha Howard, so they have at least 5 or 6 women on this team that could start and who have been there for the bulk of the season. But then you go out and you get a new guard who's not familiar with, don't have chemistry with the team. And I think this is just Stephanie White, in my opinion, just releasing that, just succumbing to that pressure and to that tension that she's feeling as a coach because of some of the decisions that she made. And let me
what it's gonna take. Okay, that's what it's gonna take. We gotta play free. We gotta play with no pressure, but we fight.
Now, as far as playing free and playing with no pressure, I think that right there, like that ship has sailed. Like I said, they were in a position early in the season where as though they did that. Stephanie White has a big 3. She got Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Aaliyah Boston. Most teams in the WNBA don't have a big 3. Like right off the top of my head, I can only think of the New York Liberty. They have Jonquel Jones, Breanna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu, right? That's their big 3. The Minnesota Lynx, in my opinion, don't have a big 3. The Aces don't have a big 3. Let me see. Atlanta Dream, they don't have a big 3. So they have a big 3. And so they're in a position where all she had to really do as a coach is to continue to allow these young ladies to develop the chemistry between, their big 3 and the role players. Then you have Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard. Like those are very good, in my opinion, they're very good role players. Okay, so and just just fill in with everybody else. And so now you have a situation, like I said, Caitlin Clark is out. Ari McDonald is out. But you still could have filled in with people that you had that were there all along. And I think, in my opinion, I just think that Stephanie White made her job a little bit more difficult than what it needed to be. I think that Stephanie White, in my opinion, she just outcoached herself.
Live that resilience.
That's what she did
every day, and we will accomplish what we want to accomplish. Okay, come on.
Because I think that, say everyone has stayed healthy, and the Indiana Fever made it to the playoffs, but they didn't go to the championship. Like they made it to the playoffs and won the first round, or just came one series short of going to the championship. As long as they had gotten further than they did the year before, then that would have been something to build on. That also would have helped towards like building the chemistry of the, between their big 3 and their role players. And so you as you go along with your big 3 and your role players, all you're doing basically is just ironing out some of the kinks. Trying to get them to play in a way that they're not really comfortable with. I don't think it was necessary. I just think that you iron out the kinks and you allow the team to everybody to develop confidence in each other, the team to develop confidence in the coach, I thought that was happening. Even when Caitlin Clark was out, I thought that was happening with the team when they were on that 5-game winning streak. And then they had went on to win like 8 out of 11, right? But, then she starts to make some of the coaching decisions that she made. And to me, I just thought that, like I said, she just outcoached herself and made some moves that she didn't really necessarily had to make. I thought it would have been wiser for Stephanie to really to it would have been wiser for her really to promote from within. And she didn't do that. She went to the streets to try to get another guard, and the first time with Ari McDonald, it didn't really backfire on her because they had all their pieces there. But the second time, it just showed that that's not the way to go. You wanna promote from within, especially on a team that has as much talent as they do there in Indiana. So that's my take on it. Yeah, I just think that all the emotions from this season, I just thought it caught up with her at that time. Not necessarily because of that game, because I said, I don't even think they should have been in a position where it took them to go into overtime to beat a Connecticut team who's sitting in the basement in the WNBA. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I will check you all out in the next episode. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Peace.